YouTube stream. Could somebody be so nice and check if the stream is working? I just posted in the chat room the link to the to the MP3 stream. Would it be possible for somebody to check if it's working? Yeah, and the live stream on YouTube is working as well. But right now we've 0 viewers. That's something what we have to change. So I will post as well the YouTube stream. If you have some social media, whatever, and you would like to inform people, perfect. Thank you. The link is working. Yeah, if you know some people around who might be interested in, just send them the YouTube link and they will be able to follow us. And here I am. Yeah, seems everything is very surprised. Yeah, so today is already Wednesday, and yeah, thank you for checking the YouTube thing. So at least we had a few on YouTube. That's already a good start. Yeah, so I will run the intro and then we can start. Hello and welcome to our third MINE live online session. Today we would like to talk about helpful tools, shared notes, and a lot of other things. I'm Thomas from Austria and I will do the presentation today. Thank you so much that you joined our session and I hope you will enjoy it. I also would like to thank the whole MINE group, colleagues from all over Europe are working on this project. But right now it's time to stop the recording and let's go live. Yeah, we are live. Yeah, once again, welcome every third session, and I'm extremely happy that again a lot of people joined in, and I guess and hope there will be some more people coming in as we have somehow this nice tradition that at the end there will be always more people at the beginning. So yeah. And today it's somehow again my turn. I'm sorry you have to somehow listen to me again, but of course there will be a lot of interaction going on. And today, I don't want to say too much right now about it, but that will be hopefully a very interactive session. One thing maybe at the beginning, because a lot of people already asked me about if there is a recording on YouTube and so on. And in fact, of course, there is a recording, and I created for each day page on our wiki. We do have from the MINE project a wiki page, and if you want to see the recording from yesterday or from Monday, you can just open the website which I posted in the chat. So that's our wiki that we are running for the MINE project. And yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't find any better name like online day 1 and day 2. And obviously today will be at the end and day 3. So from tomorrow morning, I hope you can see already coding on YouTube as well from today. Yeah, so that's one thing. And as I said, there you can find all the slides. Well, from yesterday, I didn't get the slides from Peter till right now, but I will put it online as soon as I have them. And of course, that will go on the rest of the week in the same way. Yeah, so on the participants list, again, there are 21 people here, which is great. And yeah, officially, and maybe I don't know if you checked it on the schedule. Today we have the title shared notes, and I was here yesterday as well online, and I somehow lurked in a little, and I somehow added some points where I thought they might be interesting, and I can show you as a second page the plan that I made myself for today. Yeah, maybe some people will not believe that I do have a plan, but yes, I have a plan. And today I even have some slides, which is also very unusual. Normally I don't use slides at all, but today I have a lot of slides. So yeah, what was my idea for today? The last 2 days we somehow talked very much about the virtual world. So everything what goes online and so on. And today I somehow make a step forward because as I guess a lot of you are participating in university courses, and a lot of those courses are courses where you have to be together in a physical room. But even though if you have to be in a physical room, you can somehow enrich the experience, the learning experience, by adding some, yeah, virtual artifacts, let's say. And that's what I would like to try with you today. And that's the reason why at the second place I wrote already dangerous demos. So today is the day when we will try a lot of things. I hope everything will work. Maybe not everything will work. So yeah, I hope it will not be too confusing. But yeah, today it's really hands-on. We will try a lot, and I hope you will enjoy it. And yeah, I also would like to show you some small helping tools. Yeah, you might know a couple of them already. You might know all already, but I guess that there will be some tools that you don't know till right now. And then we discussed it already on Monday. I would like somehow to make the learner more active in the learning process. And I would like to somehow discuss with you and find out together with you how we can use those small helping tools to make the learner more active in the learning process. And then quite, well, I wouldn't say at the end, but later on, we come to the real topic, which is somehow, or was announced for the day, the shared notes, and also the parallel. So that's something I would like to show you as well. Yeah, so that's my for today. We will see how much we will make. I don't know how it's for you, but I always have the problem that most of the time I have somehow, I'm too ambitious. I have too much plans, and I somehow need to do everything in the time frame. But we will see what will happen today. So yeah, combining, and that will be the first thing, combining the physical and the virtual world with mobile tools. Maybe I just could somehow ask you to write in the chat if you have any clue, any guess, any idea, any scenario maybe already how that could look like. Or maybe you have already tried something very successfully that you would like to share with us. Maybe you could just write in the chat that we have here what comes in your mind, what comes up in your mind when you think about the idea to combine the physical and the virtual world with mobile tools when it comes to the area of higher education. Yeah, just take a minute or two, think about it, and write down all your thoughts in the in the chat that we have here. And even Sarah is right now not here because on Monday she asked me to sing something. I will not sing, definitely. Turn on the music again, but yeah. So once again, what do you think about combining physical world and world with mobile tools in the area of higher education? What's in your mind? Don't be shy. Even I know the text chat is somehow, well, if somebody wants to talk, obviously that's also possible. I see you all have just the loudspeaker activated, nobody has the microphone activated, and I know I have time to type. Yeah, so we have already 2 minutes. Ah, yeah, Kahoot, okay. Yeah, well, we had a nice comment about Kahoot. That's some kind of audience response system connected with some gamification. And maybe while you're talking, while you're typing, I can tell from my own experience, when I have some classes, nowadays everybody has some mobile device with them. Mobile, well, mostly mobile phone, at least in Austria, not so popular, but people are they are connected, they have mobile devices. So I guess it would be, as Logan already wrote, that it would be worthwhile to somehow make it working. And I think exactly the same. Like, we have this technology, everybody has it, or everybody has it. So it would be really good and great to combine it. Yeah, Socrative, that's also a very famous one. Virtual reality, yeah. Yeah, that's also very nice, yeah. Which is a little bit more work to prepare. But I see that somehow you are, or many of you are optimistic about it, which is very nice, because in fact you are the target group. So if you think that there is a need to do that, that makes me very optimistic, and that makes me even, because that means that, yeah, there is a use for this project. So yeah, if you want to write something more, just you can obviously continue. That's very nice. And yeah, in fact, I will go a little bit in this direction of some people mentioned already Kahoot, which is an audience response system, because audience response here is quite simple when it comes to a virtual room, because I just pull up some questionnaire and you can say yes or no, and you can select something. So, well, right now you don't have to do anything, but here it's quite simple and easy. When we're in a real physical environment, then it's getting a little bit more tricky. To make it working, it's with a couple of small steps, it's not very difficult. And one of the small tools I would like to show you, one of the tools, well, I guess there are some students here that know me already quite well, so everybody here is already making jokes at me and QR codes because I'm somehow a big fan of them. And yeah, I guess most of you already know those QR codes. They are getting more and more popular for various reasons. And yeah, everybody who has an iPhone, for instance, and has a quite new one, even not, well, has a quite decent firmware, the barcode reader is automatically included in the camera app. So if you have an iPhone, oops, something like that, then you simply, with the camera app, you scan the code and you see what's inside. If you are an Android user, you just can download an app to scan the QR code. Talking about QR codes, I have a question for you to make it already at the beginning a little bit more interactive. We have 12 answers from 22. Well, I guess the YouTube stream can't answer and the MP3 stream as well. Yeah, so we have 17 answers right now, and I will let it go like this, which is interesting. Yeah, only 3 participants have created already a QR code, and 14 didn't, and that's something what we will like to change today. Yeah, how to make one? That was the question in the chat. That's really simple. But first, I will just go back in the slide, just to give you a little bit of idea. If you don't know, QR codes are, well, they come in fact from Asia, and they are not that new anymore, and they come from the automobile area. So they were somehow having trouble to use those one codes. I'm just looking right now desperately for one, but I don't have a 1D code. But you know those barcodes, that's a one code. Yeah, they couldn't use them anymore because they were not good enough for them. So they somehow invented a new system, which is a 2D code, a QR code, for instance. Well, nowadays there are a lot of different kind of two-dimensional codes out. QR codes are very famous, but for instance, a lot of railroad companies, they are using their own codes. If you fly somewhere, you can find most of the time, some two-dimensional codes as well on your boarding pass and so on. So they are getting really, yeah, used everywhere. And the nice thing is, in the QR code itself, there is some error correction included. And you might have seen it that a couple of companies, you can see they put the logo directly into the QR code. And even the logo from the company is somehow blocking the QR code or part of it. The QR code still works. And the reason is that the QR code is designed in a way that there's some error correction in it, which means that you can somehow put away a part of the code and the code can be still scanned and works. So that's quite intelligent. Nowadays there is even something what's called, I think, a mini QR code or something like that. So the development is going on. But yeah, anyway, nowadays they are really very widely used. And I would like to show you how to create them and also how to use them in a higher education area. So coming back to this questionnaire we had already. So how to create a QR code? First of all, what can you put in a QR code? I put it here a screenshot. It's in English, yeah. From a website. I will write you and give you in a moment the link to the website. just to give you a little bit of overview what you can do with your QR code. Here at the beginning on this side, you have to select what kind of QR code you would like to have. And the first icon that you can select is you can put a URL, a link to a website in the QR code. So that's the functionality which is most of the time used when it comes to QR codes. So if you see a product, for instance, like some bottle of Coke or some wine or whatever, most of it's just there is an address in the QR code, and as soon as you open your QR code reader and the QR code reader is reading the QR code, the web opens. So that's the most use case for QR codes. The second icon here, the second way how to you can use your QR codes, you simply can put some in the QR code. So you can write whatever you want, and then you scan it, and you will see the text on your mobile device. The only thing what I have somehow advise you or somehow tell you, the more text you have in the QR code, the more complex the QR code goes. So, well, here, for instance, it's written that it shouldn't have more than 300 characters. Otherwise, the QR code gets really complex, and then it's quite difficult for the mobile device to read the QR code. The third thing here is kind of symbol for an address book. For instance, you can put a business card in a QR code. I'm just looking right now desperately for my business card here, and you might see it quite often nowadays that people are putting, like in my case, here's my, for instance, from my work, and on the back side I have a QR code, and this other side, sorry, this QR code here just goes to an address where you can download and save my contact details directly on your smartphone. In fact, you can see it here as well as an example. That's very convenient. I don't know how is it for you, but to use on-screen display on the smartphone, maybe I'm too old for that. That's really, really tricky. So if you just have you just scan the code with the smartphone, and you can directly save the content in your address book. That's extremely nice. I use it a lot of times. Here, right now we are coming to the mobile world, let's say. Here you can send a text message, you can somehow prepare a text message, and as soon as you scan the code, or the app, the QR code reader app asks you if you would like to send the text message, and if you say yes, then the text message is sent from your phone. The same you can do here with a phone call. Yeah, again, you put a number there, and then yeah, you just scan it, and again, the app always asks if you want to send it or if you want to call the number. So it never does it automatically. It's kind of security function. So you will be always asked, and there will be some top up in the app if you're really sure that the message, or if you would like to make the call. The next symbol here, that's a symbol for location. So here you can somehow write down the location. That's very nice when you have some treasure hunt, for instance, outside. If you plan with some students, children, whoever, family, relatives, if you plan some treasure hunt outside and you have GPS, then you can save here or use this for navigation, and you can write the next place directly here in the QR code. One more here, you can also create some calendar event in a QR code. That's also quite nice if you for instance, if you would like to make an invitation for your birthday party, whatever, whatever. Then you just write the dates there and the location, and you those QR codes, and everybody can just scan the QR code and will be asked once again if the person would like to have this event in the calendar on the smartphone. If the person says yes, the event is automatically saved in the QR in the calendar app on the mobile phone. Here, the last but one icon, that's also quite a nice icon. Here you can pre-prepare already an email. You can say to whom this email should go, what kind of message should be in the email, the subject you can also define. And if a person's the code, the email app opens, and then you simply push the send button and the email will be sent automatically from the email address, which is somehow set up on the mobile phone. And the last thing here, which is a brilliant thing, but honestly, I've never seen that in real life. Even I beg every time people to do that. I don't know how is it do. I guess you also experience the same as I. When you go somewhere to a hotel or a Airbnb, whatever, most of the time nowadays you have a Wi-Fi connection, but for a reason which personally I can't understand, most of the people lock down the Wi-Fi with a key. So if you would like to connect your smartphone, your computer, whatever, with the Wi-Fi, you always have to type in this Wi-Fi key on your smartphone that you can connect yourself to the Wi-Fi. And the much easier and nicer way is if you could create a QR code with the name of your Wi-Fi and the access key. You just scan the code and the phone or the device asks you if you would like to connect yourself with this Wi-Fi. You just click one button and you say yes, and your device is connected. You don't have to write anything. You don't have to worry if it's a 0, if it's a capital O or something like that. I don't know if you have the same problem, but I always worry if that's a 0 or a capital O. All these annoying things you don't have anymore. But honestly, I've never seen that in real life. Even I would be more than happy to experience it once somewhere if I go to a hotel or to Airbnb, that I just need to scan it with my smartphone and I'm immediately connected. Yeah. So that's the functions that you have in a QR code nowadays. And I already somehow showed you a screenshot from this side, but obviously I also, well, I can write it here in the chat. Don't worry, they can switch to English, so that's not a problem at all. As you can see, the screenshot is also in English. If you would like to try it out, simply, I didn't write the www, so it's I didn't recognize. Oh, okay, it doesn't go there. Then we have to have the HTTP as. Jesus, right now it has it. Right now you just have to click on it and, oh, it's not HTTPS. Sorry, wait a minute. Sorry, my fault. It's not HTTPS. It's just HTTP. That's the live demos. So yeah, if you use the last URL that I wrote here, it's without HTTPS. And when you go there, use exactly the site that I have here in the presentation, and you can switch to English. On the right top, there is a small flag. Probably if you have the browser in English, it automatically read out and shows up the page in English for you. So far, well, I will make a questionnaire again. So far, everybody is fine with that. It works still right now for everybody, or somebody has a question? I guess everybody somehow tries to open the website now. And you always can ask questions or write questions in the chat if I'm too fast, if I'm too slow. Yeah, just feel free. Yeah, so you can bookmark this site, this QR code generator. The nice thing with this QR code generator is you see on the right-hand side the QR code. And the very nice thing is this QR code is created dynamically. So if you write here some text, for instance, this is a screenshot, so I can't show it to you like this. But if you write the text here, it dynamically creates the QR code. Yeah, well, you don't have to log out. Well, that's a personal thing. In general, I always try to avoid those websites where you have to log in or where you have to give away your data. So on this website, you don't have to log in. And when you download the QR code, you get a small window and you will be asked in which resolution you would like to have it. So you can even download it in a very high resolution to use it for printing. That also works. And this website is somehow not full with ads, which is also nice. So you are somehow not annoyed by getting a lot of ads what he wants to have. Yeah, so that's about how to create a QR code. You can see it's really, really simple and easy. And by the way, if you would like to print QR codes and you want to do it more often, I can try to show. You can see I have some small labels here on this card here. In fact, I spoiled myself a little bit. If you are using those labels more often, you can simply buy a label printer, and you know what? They're extremely cheap. I bought such a label printer for 20 euros, and it works very nice. And yeah, those labels are very cheap. So if you want to do it more often or for school, that's a brilliant thing. Yeah, so let's go forward. Well, it's already half an hour gone. I'm getting scared because I still have a lot of slides. Yeah, I showed you the first site for creating a QR code, and maybe one day you would like to create a lot of QR codes, and then this QR code generator is a little bit annoying because to create a lot of, if you have to create, I don't know, 50 QR codes or something like that at once, then it's a little bit difficult. So if you would like to create more QR codes at once, this website is very useful. It's called qrexplorer.com. And you don't have to log in, you don't have to give any credentials, there nothing. You just either import the file or you just write it down here and list all the data that you would like to have converted in a QR code. And then here you have some additional settings. You can change the color and all that stuff. And then you just press create codes and you get a zip file with all the QR codes. Nothing is saved on the server side, which is also nice. So that's really, really useful as well if you have a lot of QR codes. And why I'm saying that, for instance, with my students, I send to each student before my lesson an individual QR code. And this QR code is an email address. So each of my students gets from me before the first lecture an email with a QR code. And in fact, in the QR code itself is the email address of the student. And why I'm doing that, and that's the next step, because I have to somehow keep an attendance list. I don't want to discuss right now the sense of that. That's a long story. But I'm somehow obliged to that. Most of the people are just using paper things. So we have some university system, and we can print out some. Well, that's just a sheet of paper. That's the somehow look like this. Just a A4 sheet with all participants' name, student names, and then they just have to sign it. I don't know how's it for you, but I have a lot of papers and I have some loose papers. So this is somehow not the best option for me. And I thought I would like to make an electronic attendance list instead of a classical one. So as I said, I'm giving to each student before the lesson a QR code with the email address. And in fact, I have on my Android phone this app installed, which is a very nice app, and everybody can decide themselves. But I have to say I use it quite a lot because this app is a very nice one. It replaces the standard keyboard that you have installed on an Android other keyboard with a new keyboard. And this keyboard has here next to the space bar a key with a QR code scanner. Yeah, so that's one thing. I put it here, the QR code, if you would like to test this keyboard. Well, you have to have an Android phone. On iOS, something like that doesn't work because for iOS, you can't change the keyboard. There's a workaround, but that's there you have to have euros to buy a hardware scanner. It's not very expensive, but you still have to invest that. And here, this app costs, I don't know, a couple of euros, but it's very cheap. Yeah, so I have this keyboard, special keyboard on my app, on my smartphone. And what I'm doing right now, I have a Google form. So if you would like, and if you're, I don't know if how much you're familiar with Google Forms, but if you would like, you simply can right now take your mobile phone, and once again, that's kind of risky demo. So if you would like, you can simply scan this QR code that you have here in the presentation right now. You scan the QR code with your mobile phone. As I said, if you have an iPhone, the camera app, and if you watch with the camera app the QR code, the camera app automatically recognizes the QR code and asks if you would like to open the web. Please say yes. Or if you have an Android phone and you have already installed the code reader, which I strongly advise, not only for this presentation, but for real life, just try to open this QR code. When you have opened it, you will find a website, a Google form, in fact. And if you would be so kind, and that will be also the challenge for today already, you just please write down your email address. And don't worry, I will not give this data away. So, and I will even remove it after the presentation. But if it would be very nice if you could simply write down your email address, for instance, in this Google form. And I just opened in parallel this Google form. Oh, you are really fast. I have already 11 answers. Okay. So that seems that worked out. 12 already. Yeah, perfect. Seems it works. Yeah, 12 people already sent a number. Perfect. Yeah. Why I'm showing that to you? Because that's exactly what I'm doing with my students. So once again, to bring everything together, I send students before my first lesson an email with a QR code, and in the QR code is the email address. When I have the lesson, I ask my students to show me this QR code. That's quite easy because normally, as I said, students have either a computer handy because most of the time we're in a computer lab, but if not, anyway, everybody has a mobile phone with them, so they just show it to me on the mobile phone. And I created for myself such a Google form, but instead of typing in the email address of the student, what you did right now because you don't have the scanner, I'm just scanning the code with my smartphone, and then in the code is the email address. So my smartphone somehow reads this email address and fills in the Google form. And I just click as you did, 12 people or even 15 already. I just press the send button, and then I have exactly such a nice table with all the email addresses, which I use as an attendance list. So that's my digital attendance list. That's nice because I don't have to deal with this paper thing, which I always lose. But there is an additional thing. When you make a Google form, you can install a small plugin form, which is some kind of email notification. And this email notification has the nice functionality that you can send an email with a certain with a certain subject and a certain text in the email body directed to the email address that you have filled in the Google form. So students have the benefit that when I scan this code and push the button in the Google form, they automatically get an email from me, and in this there is a link to a document, to a shared document, where they can find all the information about the lecture for today. So if I have some material for students, some link for the students, some advices, whatever, I can send very easily and automatically, in fact, directly to the student. So that's some kind of way how to connect the physical world and the physical room with the virtual room. Very simple. Everybody can do it. You don't have to have a paid account or something like that. That's really, really simple and easy. Yeah. So that was the first thing. Maybe just a small questionnaire because I'm always curious. Can I ask who of you has used already a Google form? Is everybody familiar with Google Forms? Has everybody used forms already? Even I'm not somehow advertising Google. You can do the same with Microsoft as well. Oh, yeah, 11 people didn't use Google Forms. As I said, I'm somehow not advertising Google or Microsoft. Both have products, and for me that's something very well. I'm living in Google, so I mainly use Google stuff. But you can do the same on the Microsoft side as well. And I really strongly advise, if you are interested in something like that, just try it out. It's very simple. You can find a lot of tutorials as well for Microsoft and for Google stuff. It really makes your life easier, I would say. And by the way, a lot of institutions like our university or college, however you want to call it, our institution also has a contract with Google. So there is some program which is called Google for Education or something like that. So there you can also get some nice advantages like unlimited Google accounts and so on. Yeah, but if you're interested in that, as I said, you can find a lot of stuff on the internet as well. Yeah, and obviously you can contact me. Yeah, Kasia already just wrote in the chat that it's a really good tool for organizing conferences and submitting all data of participants. That's right. In general, all this, yeah, collecting data is really nice with this Google form. Okay, next step. Some people mentioned it at the beginning, and maybe I should start to talk a little bit faster because it's already 45. Something already at the beginning, Kahoot. Kahoot is the system which is called audience response system, and this is also very nice to interact with the audience. And I'm not good because I'm somehow the open source guy, and yeah, um, I somehow am happy if certain things are public. And I would to introduce you to a tool from Germany. In fact, it's called Pingo. It's also some kind of survey tool. And I prepared something for you. And I would kindly ask you either you could open the QR code again, because maybe you have already a QR code reader on your smartphone or on your smart device, so you could scan the code. Or if you don't have it installed or you prefer to use the computer right now, you can simply take this address here, and then we will start such a small session. I just have to check on the other browser if the session still works, because sometimes there is some timeout thing. No, it still works fine. Okay, so we have a session number, which unfortunately I have to copy it from here. And I somehow wanted to make it a little bit more interactive, and I also want to show you some tools here. And in that case, I will write the session number here. Yeah, I'll make it bigger. So if you go on this Bingo website here, or you scan the code, then you will be asked for a session number. I would kindly ask you to use the session number 35687, because that will lead you to the survey already prepared. And in fact, that's very similar to what I can do here in this big blue button. As you know, on the big blue button, I can just here pull up a survey or polling, and then you can say yes or no and so on. But we are talking about combining the physical virtual world. I always try to avoid the name real world, because I guess real is both. So the tool to combine the virtual world and the physical world will be, for instance, but this Bingo. And for instance, I could ask you right now, are you fine with the presentation till right now, yes or no? And if, yeah, A is yes, B is no, if you just click the button, and then we will see in a moment the results if you have this Bingo site open. I still have no participants on the Bingo side. It doesn't work. Okay. So I'll just click the stop button. Yeah, 7 people are fine. Well, I can't show you right now because I don't want to turn on the screen sharing thing. In theory, I could do it, but then I just see the result. I see that 7 people voted, and yeah. So exactly the same as we have here in the virtual room, that we can start a poll here. Yeah, we can do exactly the same in this Pingo. It's completely for free. You don't have to give your data away, and it's even a server in Germany. So yeah, that's very nice and very simple. So as a teacher, for instance, easily integrate that as well in your lesson. That's, of course, you can prepare some questionnaire and so on. That's also possible, but you can also make it in a very nice, simple way. Yeah. For instance, maybe one more question on this Pingo. For instance, if I ask you to give me marks for the session till right now, so 1 is the best mark, 5 is the worst mark, I would kindly ask you to give me a number right now. So you just write the number 1, or well, from 1 to 5. For 1 is good and 5 bad. So if, yeah, you could do that, then you can give me a mark, for instance. Maybe I should stop very fast, not to get very bad marks. Yeah, 4 people voted, gave me 1, and people gave me 2. So yeah, that's quite okay, I hope. But once again, it was just to show you this tool. But as I said, well, everybody who's using or was using already Kahoot, that's something similar. Kahoot has a little bit more this gamification inside. That's the truth. The background from this Pingo tool is that it comes from the higher education. It was developed by a university in Germany. So maybe that's the reason why it's somehow maybe not so much gamification idea. The voting was in the Pingo side, because Helena asked where were you voting, with Pingo side with that session number for the voting. Yeah, so let's go forward. Yeah, and right now, in fact, we are starting a session for today, because officially it's announced that it's about shared notes. I did tell you already that I'm sending out an email to my students, and this email, they can find all the relevant links and information to my lesson. And the unusual thing is that most of the time my students, because my students are coming from a traditional formal educational way, so my students are mainly used to have their own notes. So a lot of students are coming in with some folders, and they nicely write down all what I'm saying, and everybody has his or her own individual notes. I'm somehow completely coming from another side, and I say, you know what, I would like to have shared notes, in the meaning that we have one document together, that we are working on this one document together in a collaborative way. And that's at the beginning always a little bit challenging, but at the end of the day, most of the people like it very much. And I somehow always try to motivate my students that they are really invited to write something, to add something, because it's something that's our common source. And yeah, I would like to try that with you as well. I will, well, if you have a QR code reader already installed or handy, you can scan the code. I know that this link way too long to write it without any mistakes from this to the browser. So don't worry, you don't have to, because I will copy it to the chat here. You can simply click on it. I just couldn't pre-prepare it. You just click on it and a shared document. In fact, it's again, I'm sorry, as I said, I'm living in Google, again, a Google document. But yeah, it's a shared document. I see people are popping in. And yeah, everybody is somehow invited to, well, if you would like, you can write something, for instance, from today, and then, for instance, from mine-project.eu/demo/room and so on. And then, for instance, we could make this QR code generator.d, I think it was. So yeah, everybody has to write something in this document. And again, the idea is to have it really written in a collaborative way. So that we are all working on one document, which is, I guess, for most of the people, a little bit unusual. People have to get used to it. But I think it's a huge step forward because it somehow, yeah, the technology brings us together, and that's one of the main things. So yeah, and the other thing is, which I'm also happy about, you might have noticed you were not asked for any credentials, so you didn't have to write, or you don't have to have any Google account. So this document is open for everybody. Everybody who has the link is allowed to write something there. Because if you somehow put some password on documents, a lot of people are somehow locked out because they are losing the password and so on. If somebody does have already a Google account and is logged in the browser and you open it in a new tab, then in fact you can also see the name of the person who writes it. If the person is not logged in, then you can just see some animal name or some random name. Yeah, so that's about the shared document. And yeah, I can just strongly somehow ask you from a student point of view, because I guess most of the people here are students. You know, you can just talk to your study colleague. When you're sitting in the group before the teacher is coming, you just say, you know what, let's organize ourselves and let's write everything in one document together. Then we have some common ground. Not everybody has to write her or himself. And if somebody is missing something, that's not a big deal anymore, because another person will simply write it there. So yeah, that's something what I very much somehow like, and also this idea of this collaborative work, that you're working together on one document, is, as I said at the beginning, a little bit unusual, but I think at the end of the day, it's really, really nice and helpful. Yeah, of course. What you can also do is you can pre-prepare the document. I didn't know, but in fact, you could pre-prepare the document already with some structure. I wrote here just links from today, but of course you could have some additional, like some material, literature, whatever. You could already prepare some structure, which might make it a little bit easier for everybody to use it. Yeah, if the teacher or the lecturer has also access to the document, then in fact it's also nice if you can write down some questions. That's sometimes for the presenter a little bit challenging. So for instance, you always have to somehow keep this document open while you're teaching, but when you have a bigger audience, it's also very helpful because audience or people from the audience, in fact, could also write some questions if something is not clear. If they have some further questions, they could simply write it down. And if there is some time and the lecturer has this open, he more or less immediately could somehow answer this question. If the lecturer has this document not open, then he could maybe, or she, later on. Yeah, so that's about this shared notes. The other thing is, once again, we are talking about combining the virtual world and the physical world. One very, very simple, easy thing is also to run a chat. Even to run a chat while a physical lecture. I remember we had European intensive programs 2012, 2013, and 14, and it was also somehow the topic was about IT in schools and how to use Web2 applications in schools. And we had quite a big audience. You know, intensive programs, we are talking about 30, 35 people from different countries. And but I always made a presentation. And we thought that it would be extremely interesting to have some kind of parallel session. In the meaning, you're sitting in the room, you're listening to a presentation like you do right now. And in fact, here we do have it. We have here on the right-hand side, everybody has the possibility to write something in the chat. And this possibility is more or less using. And in fact, you could do exactly the same in a physical lesson. Obviously, you don't have such an environment that we have here right now, so you have to create it yourself. And one very simple way to create it yourself is there are a lot of thousands of solutions. I just picked up one which is simply easy. Once again, you could open the link with the QR code, or you simply type it in your browser in a new browser tab. It's an extremely, extremely simple and easy chat. It's really, it's nothing fancy, it's nothing special, it's nothing shiny. The nice thing is, once again, you don't have to write your credentials there. And you're just asked for a name, which is nice and simple. As I said, doesn't have to be your real name even. Exactly. And then you can just start the chat. And you can even open it with your browser on your mobile device. As I said, if you just scan the code, I'm doing that right now. And I just want to show you the interface because it's, once again, very nicely optimized for mobiles. And as we know, we are kind of mobile. Yeah, you can see, I don't know if you can see, I should have made a screenshot. But yeah, you can use it and try it with your own device. Oops, oops. And I will make everybody dizzy with turning it around all the time. Yeah, it's really simple and easy. And again, without any registration, without giving your data away. Yeah. And imagine you're sitting in a lecture and, well, you can use your smart device just to have a parallel conversation, which is somehow connected to the topic where you are listening to. So yeah, simple and easy, and that's how it works. I still have 2 slides. I think, yeah, maybe that's a nice way, and I hope you are not angry with me that I was somehow, yeah, I'm a little bit running over time. Just at the end of the session, because it's more or less the end, because most of you are students, so I would kindly ask you somehow, yeah, at the end of the session, if you have some tips and tricks for making lessons more so yeah, that the learners get more active, that you are somehow more satisfied. Do you have some conclusions, some tips, some advices that you would like to give to us? I would be more than happy to hear them. Yeah, as always, you can in the chat. We also do have right now the second chat. Yeah, and I see all tools are already used, which is very nice. And one thing what we also experienced in this intensive programs while using this chat, um, sometimes the discussion in the chat goes a little bit in the different presentation or lecture, which sometimes makes it a little bit tricky to follow, but I think this challenge is not that big that you can't manage it. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was my mistake. I somehow I will correct the URL. Just give me a second, and then you can click the link. Yeah, once again, if you have any tips and tricks for making lessons more interactive, I would be more than happy to hear them or to read them. And I hope I somehow made you a little bit of appetite and make you a little bit hungry to try a couple of tools to, yeah, out what is somehow what fits your needs, what is best for you. And yeah, you don't have to wait when you're a student. You don't have to wait for the teacher that the teacher is changing something. You also can do something like this chat, for instance, like the shared documents. They are working also without. So of course it would be nice if the lecturer is somehow involved as well, but if not, that's not a big deal. Just if everybody is using only the mobile phones or smart devices and nobody listens to the presenter, then you have to somehow explain yourself a little bit. Yeah. Last but not least, the last thing I would like to ask you, just to give me a small feedback, if the session was fine for you, or if it was, well, if it was fine, then please say yes. And if you say it was not so interesting for me, just say no to give me a little bit of feeling if I somehow was able to catch the topics that you are interested in. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. I'm more than happy that you enjoyed it. For me, it was also very nice. Once again, sorry that I somehow was running a little bit over time. It's 8:10. Yeah. If you have any question about any tool which was somehow used today, just feel free to email me, contact me. Um, when you look on those wiki pages, well, beside the fact that you also have my address here at the end, on the wiki side of today, you can also find my email address, and there will be also the stream and audio stream from today. So once again, thank you so much for joining and coming in. Even today we had only 23. I have to somehow, yeah, we were only 23 people today. Yesterday we had 26, so we will see how many people will join us tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow we will talk about Twitter. Our nice colleagues from Aberdeen, they are big Twitter users, and they will show you a lot of tricks about Twitter. So if you have time tomorrow again, 7 p.m. Central European time, 8 o'clock in Greece, 6 o'clock in Portugal time zone or K time zone, I would be more than happy to hear you, see you, read you tomorrow. Yeah, so once again, thank you so much, and yeah, I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a nice evening. And if you're interested to try the audio, you are right now anytime able to activate your